You're watching the Rotoscopers YouTube. I'm Morgan Stradling.
And I'm Chelsea Robson.
And today we are reviewing Brother Bear.
So Brother Bear is a story about three brothers. One who ends up dying within the first 3 minutes of the movie or so because he gets in a fight with a bear. The second brother, who wants to avenge the first brother's death by killing the bear, ends up killing the bear but then gets turned into a bear by some mystical, northern light force. And then the third brother, who was always saying, "Oh, you shouldn't kill the bear, don't leave the bear alone," thinks that that same bear ended up killing the second brother as well. So he decides to go after the bear, which happens to be the other brother. So it's just a long, huge story. I will say, though, that if I thought that two of my brothers were killed by the same bear, you better believe that bear would be dead.
So Kenai, he's the brother who gets turned into the bear. As he's a bear, he needs to figure out what it's like to be a bear, and he meets Coda. Coda is a little bear cub, which happens to be the son of the bear that Kenai killed. And it's a really sad moment when kind of Coda realizes his mom's not coming back, and anyways, they become friends, and it's Kenai's adventure learning how to accept others and live in their shoes and whatnot. Mm-hmm. This movie's good, but it's really not one of my favorites.
No.
The fact that they're bears the whole time is kind of a turnoff for me. I would have maybe liked to see them more as humans.
I mean, as much as we like anthropomorphic.
Oh, we love anthropomorphic. But these were, yeah. But I like anthropomorphic, like Robin Hood style, where they stand up and they're like humans, basically.
Yeah,
turned into a walking animal.
I really thought that Brave was kind of like 2/4 of this movie as well, and it just was like, it didn't work then, it didn't work here, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, this movie came out, after Lilo and Stitch, and this is sort of like the return of the Dark Ages for Disney in a way, other than the fact that it's not. The Dark Ages when they stopped production of movies altogether after Home on the Range. They're like, we will never make 2D animated films again. Brother Bear, really, it didn't work. They kind of tried to take elements that worked in Tarzan, namely Phil Collins, and having him be the composer and write the songs.
So they had Melissa Etheridge in the second one. So that was cool.
But to me, it kind of feels like they're rehashing elements that worked really well in Tarzan, mainly Phil Collins' songs, overlaying the action. The songs are good. Like, I definitely listen to some of these on my iPod. Mostly On My Way. I think that's a really good inspirational song. And I'm really proud of Phil Collins that he got to do this. But I don't know. As I was watching some of the bonus features, like, the directors just were so passionate about this movie. Like, everyone who was making it, they were just so excited about this movie and passionate. And it made me, like, really want this movie to do well, even though this is 10 years in the future and it didn't. But, I appreciate the passion that the directors have for this, but there were just all these elements, and maybe the story was a little bit off, and just didn't make it work for me.
Yeah. So Brother Bear 2 is basically about Kenai's relationship with another girl, and the girl ends up getting turned into a bear in the end, and everything's all happy-dory. That Melissa Etheridge also did the music for that one, and that one, like, I saw some of the music in that, and I was like, this is actually really good. The making of documentary was not bad, so I give them pretty good props on those things. But all in all, like I said, the whole thing just wasn't as beloved as so many of the other Disney films.
Surprisingly, Disney didn't just ignore the special features on this one like they have some of their other DVDs. So there's a making of featurette, which is really long and just awesome. Really, really good stuff in there, and that's where you really get to see the creator's passion for this. There's a deleted song, deleted scenes, as usual. There's just lots of things on this that make it good and make you kind of appreciate the movie more because you understand the backstory behind it. And they really tried to be very accurate and pay homage to the Inuit society and culture, which this is based off of. But still, I enjoyed looking at all these things, and I thought they were great and they were fun, but nothing too special or out of the ordinary for these bonus features. I know you're really surprised, right?
So all in all, we give the movie about 3.5 stars.
Yeah. 3.5 stars.
Yeah, I mean, it was good enough. Pretty good. Decent.
Yeah.
But definitely doesn't compare to some of the other Disney greats, obviously.
And the special features, I would rate those about 2.5 stars. They're pretty just, thank you for including them, but nothing special. Yeah, if you didn't have this one in your collection, I don't think you'd be missing out. Then again, if you're a Disney fan, then you're like, no, I need this movie. Then yeah, you'll need this movie, definitely.
Otherwise, I would say rent it.
Rent it.
Mm-hmm. So thanks for watching. We'd like to invite you to head on over to therotoscopers.com so you can check out the news and reviews of and everything happening in the animation world. We also have a fantastic podcast that is really funny. If you like hearing us talk about and rant about all these fun Disney movies and even just any animated movie, we love to go about doing that. And each podcast is about an hour to an hour and a half long, so it's just fun.
So here on the YouTube, you get the really condensed version, but on the podcast, you get the big version, the unedited, the uncut version of us just ranting and raving and loving it. So to check that out, go to therotoscopers.com/podcast, and you can find all of our old episodes there, or you can also find us on iTunes. We're called the Animation Addicts Podcast.
Until next time, we are the Rotoscopers. It's just the whole thing, like they go through and they're just like, Mulan, how did you come to follow your heart instead of your duty? And Mulan says, I found out my duty was to my heart. And it's like,
it's a good line.
It is a good line. But it's like, what?
Never getting a bell. Yeah, and that was another thing, like the inclusion of the Elvis songs. You could either have looked at it and said, "This is completely wacky and weird. I don't get it," or you could have accepted it and said, "This works."
I love Elvis. Yeah, of course it works.
Okay, so if that bell does exist, I want to be right under it as it's ringing because those jewels are coming down.
For real, like you would not put.